Hey y'all, I am back from the beach. Been back for a little while. I'm just kind of getting ready to do my journaling before I start my day. So I wanted to get in the habit of sharing this with you guys too, not just sunrises in the morning, but it's always great to have a good message for the day. This one's getting short, so I gotta get a new one soon, but this is my favorite one. And I've got a card that I pulled for you guys. And I wanted to talk a lot about this because I think this happens a lot. The distraction of a shiny thing. So wait a couple minutes for a few to get on. Hi, Plauche. I'm so glad to see you. And I know some of you joined me for the sunrise this morning. I'm going to try and show up and get that done every day and, make that commitment because I have the time. It's perfect timing with daylight savings. So I wanted to talk about today's message because I know it's just as much for me as it is for you, and that's why I'm sharing it, because maybe it's something that you need to hear, and maybe you've been stuck. So I like to read from my book. This is my angel cards. They're Sacred Creator cards, which are my favorite ones. And the distraction of shiny things is being able to decipher what's exactly right for you and what's not for you at this time, right? And do we create illusions? Do we get comparisonitis? Do we start getting distracted because we see what somebody else is doing? So we change courses or we flip-flop, right? And good morning if you guys are popping on. So you find yourself going in circles. And if you find you've been doing a whole lot of pivoting lately, and I'm just going to read some excerpts from this book. It's time to take a pause and what's the underlying reason why you feel like you're spinning your wheels, right? Maybe your flight plan isn't very well constructed and you found yourself, gliding around aimlessly, unsure of what to do next. Maybe you've been flopping around like a silly goose and wasting all sorts of energy only to arrive back at the right spot that you took off from, right? You feel like you're spinning your wheels. So you have to quiet, sometimes you have to quiet all the noise and you have to sit with yourself and really listen, what is it that you want, right? What is it that you truly want? You have to make sure that your actions are heading in the same direction. Hi, Claudia. So when you're growing a dream, when you're working toward a goal, it's easy to get distracted by other people's lives. And I used to be guilty of doing this. And when it came to growing as an entrepreneur or in my fitness and trying to reach my goals, I found myself, comparing myself to other people and sometimes comparing my success to their success or my journey to their journey, which that's really a hard thing to do because we're all so different. And we all have a different story. We all have a different path. We all have a different outcome based on choices, based on, where we've been and where we're going. So when you put all those factors into the wind, when you start finding that you're coveting, hi Mark, coveting somebody else's life, somebody else's success, somebody else's followers, somebody else's website ideas, their style, their amazing signature system, or even things like their perfect hair or their hottie partner, you have falling into the bad side of comparison, and with their success makes you feel like you're less than, not enough, or total bird shit, right? You start to do that and you start to get down on yourself and you start to that negative thinking kicks in. Hi, Chrissy. Oh, it's so good to see you. I miss you. So covering, checking out what people are up to, it can give you ideas, right? And I've always followed successful people in the mindset of not comparing. When I stopped doing that and I realized that wasn't doing me any good, and I stopped, following people and just kind of sticking on my own path and doing my choices, not based on what other people were doing, if that makes sense. So, when you desire a certain life for yourself, it's because your soul knows what is possible, and it knows that it's possible to create that life. If you have that feeling or vision, it's all possible. Spirit didn't give us desire and emotion so that we could sit around with wishful thinking all day, right? It equipped us with the things that we could use them as a shiny mirror so that we could catch a sacred glimpse into the realm of what is possible. So what are your shiny things saying to you today? What are the shiny things that distract you? What are the things that squirrel you? And here's a couple of journal prompts if you want to write, because I'm going to write as soon as we get off the video today. But, Avoid the temptation of shiny, meaningless things. What's your weakness? And can you create a strategy to avoid it? So it's about looking at yourself and looking in your mirror. And I don't know if you guys remember Romper Room. I always picture that every time I say the mirror, you know, when she takes the mirror and she's like, I see this person. I see Claudia, I see Ricky, I see Mark, I see Stephanie, I see all of you on here. What are the things that are holding you back from, you know, things that you want in life? And do you find yourself being distracted, you know, by what other people are doing? Maybe even stopping doing things because, you know, you start comparing and you feel like you're not good enough, right? And I'm here to tell you today that whatever it is that you want to do, you are good enough. And it's your story. And that's the beauty of having a blank page every single day to write that, right? To write that. So you have everything you need. You know, you have to just get a bird's eye view, look in the mirror and be real with yourself and find out, you know, what lights you up, you know? What lights you up? What makes you unique? What makes you quirky? What makes you wild? What is your light? You know, where is it? What does it look like? How does it feel? And how can you learn to live in your own light fully? You know, that's a big question that a lot of people, you know, struggle with. And I think sometimes it's that fear, you know, the limiting belief, the fear that we're not good enough, and the fear that of what other people are going to think, right? And I know it can be debilitating for some, and getting stuck in that safe zone, really, it really isn't a safe zone, right? Really, because what it's doing is it's stifling your light. It's stifling, you know, some amazing choices that could actually open up more doors, you know, when you step into your power. And I think this is why I show up mostly every day. It's just to kind of knock on your door and, you know, check you and make sure that you're showing up, because you have one life, right? You have one life to live. And I know if I didn't make those scary choices, and if I didn't show up and step out of my comfort zone and just be me, you know, and I'm enjoying at 45, almost 46. Yes, romper room. Almost 46 next month. I'm enjoying being myself so much more, you know, and I think I've defined and understood that definition so much more than I ever have in my life, you know, and how much energy and how much mindset and how much, you know, really looking at yourself, you know, what you're choosing, what you're allowing in your life, and, you know, all the dreams and goals you have, you know, are possible if you work, you know, if you decide to put in the work, if you decide to show up, and if you decide to like set those things into motion and protect them, you know, like, and sometimes it's getting people out of your life. Sometimes it's changing, you know, what you're doing entirely, which can be scary. And I know a lot of us stay stuck in jobs, we stay stuck in relationships, you know, because of that fear, right? That fear of change, that fear of being alone, that whatever it is that keeps you, you know, stuck where it is, you know, and a lot of people have that fear of stepping out and changing things. And oftentimes when you listen to people who have changed their life, who have done something significant, you know, like a left turn or a right turn, you know, going against, you know, the normal day-to-day stuff, if that makes sense. And not being distracted by shiny things, and not being distracted by what people think, and just living life, you know, living life here, you know, what here, your soul, you know, your gut, your instinct, you know, tells you to do. What does your heart tell you to do? What is your heart? You know, that's what's important. It's not what people think, because you know what? Ultimately, people don't really care. You know, people, it doesn't really matter. They don't have to live your life. And, you know, if someone doesn't like you, or if that's great, you know, it's going to happen, you know, it's going to happen in life, and it's okay for people to not like you. They're not part of your tribe. And it just kind of, and if you're compromising yourself for that reason, stop. You know, if you're compromising yourself to make other people feel good, or to keep the peace, or, you know, whatever, and it's making you feel small, and it's making you feel stuck, then you really need to look in the mirror and change that, because that's where true joy is, right? That's where true joy and happiness is. And I had a thought yesterday that, you know, if you're in any kind of situation that's, you know, not working out for you, or you're just not happy, or you're not feeling like your soul, you know, like you're not feeling like your light is fully shining, that's your guide. That's your guide to change, right? And that's your guide to find happiness every day. And you can do that if you're living in the moment every single day, and you're using that as your, you know, your dowser, or your guide. Is like, if something doesn't feel right, that means it's time to change, right? If something feels scary, oftentimes that's your pointer that you need to do that so you can grow. Our life is about growing and getting better every single day. And it's what I wake up and try to do every single day. And like I said, at 46, I get it, you know? And, you know, I divorced last year, and, you know, it was a hard thing to do, but it was the best thing, and it was necessary because, and I won't get into that, but oftentimes the hardest choices are the best choices that we can make. And loving yourself, showing up for yourself, and, you know, not getting distracted and feeling like you're spinning your wheels in life. And it's tough. It's tough to make hard decisions. It's tough not to get distracted by, gosh, the media. I won't even talk about, you know, the distraction going on right now with the virus. And if you really just educate yourself and don't listen to the noise, and shut off the noise around you in your life, and sit with yourself and just be and ask yourself. Because I think oftentimes we're so busy and we get so distracted in going through the motions of life, right? The comfort zone of life. And you wake up 6 months later, and, you know, all those goals that you set, you know, back in the beginning of the year, your New Year's resolutions, it never happens, right? Because you just get into that pattern again, that comfortable pattern. And, you know, every time you're not choosing yourself, you're wasting more time, right? We all have a limited amount of time here. And, you know, I choose to make it every second count, you know, because at 46, life is going by fast. And I have a child turning 16, and, you know, every day needs to be amazing. And there is no reason that it shouldn't be amazing. So choose you, you know, choose the things that you desire, choose the things that you love in life, and be unapologetic about it. Because if you're choosing good, good will come. And you really do have to find the holes. I guess you call it like the holes in your life that you're choosing that are not allowing that to happen. Does that make sense? Or not allowing full joy, or not allowing you to live completely happy and unapologetically you. If there's people making you feel small, or, you know, you're feeling like you're not there, it's time to change that. You know, it's time to change that and be in your flow and listen to your soul. And if it's moving to a new state, or if it's moving to a new job, whatever it is, you know, I tell you to do it. You know, stop procrastinating it, stop getting distracted and listening to your limiting beliefs, because your limiting beliefs ultimately are what hold you back. And it's all about loving yourself. And loving yourself is looking at, in that mirror, like Romper Room, I wish I had a mirror, and looking at what you can change. You know, what is it that you can change today? You know, little things like self-love, you know, getting up every day and choosing to love yourself and do things that create a better life for yourself, that create a better mindset for yourself, and choosing positivity and get rid of, you know, the negative thinking and the subconscious conditioning that you were taught, you know, through teachers, through, you know, families, through, you know, from things that were put on you, you know, and get rid of it, you know, get rid of it and listen to what your soul tells you to do, because that is the ultimate sweet spot in the flow of life. And that is what it is meant for, you know, none of this distracting stuff that keeps us small. You know, you need to be amazing because you are amazing. So that is my message for today. And I'm super excited. Oh, from Tennessee. Yeah, great. Yeah, how's the weather there? Oh gosh, you guys had those tornadoes. Did that reach you? I know Nashville